Okay, let's talk about classified kill team then. Right, so in case you somehow missed this, this was a Warhammer community article that came out while I was at the Turning Point Tactics tournament, right? And then it went on the to-do list of things that I would absolutely have to talk about, and then we were hit with the previews, and honestly, that's better news, and I generally like to try and cover stuff that's just relentlessly positive. I've summarised this down. I've cut out some of the pieces that were on the Warcom. If you want to read the original Warcom to yourself, it's going to be available in the description of the video. But I'll just read the relevant parts here. From now on, every kill team will receive consistently updated rules for 2 editions. Updates will be quarterly, while smaller adjustments may be made as required. Every team will remain in the product range for a full 4 seasons. Seasons generally last 12 months, though they can be longer or shorter as required. This is to ensure a manageable range that we can keep in stock. And then there's an asterisk, and the asterisk, I've not copy and pasted it, but basically it's something like some products may come back as part of the 40k range. Classified kill teams. Teams that are currently available in the kill team product range are labelled classified, which indicates that they are the ones currently recommended for tournament play. The teams below, to the left on my slide, are currently classified, and this list will be updated after the first season of the new edition comes to a close. When a team leaves the product range, it leaves the classified list. So what is classified for? The list will be used to ensure fairness, stability, and availability for major Warhammer events such as US Opens and the World Championships of Warhammer. We'll provide an event companion document containing all the guidance you need to run your own tournaments in a similar way, but that doesn't mean your favourite team won't be playable. For example, Commandos will be classified throughout the first season of the new edition. The box will leave the kill team range when the season comes to a close, and the Commandos kill team will leave the classified list. You can still enjoy playing them in all other settings except for classified tournament play, and they will continue to receive updates, including for balance, until the end of this edition. For the vast majority of players in clubs, in leagues, and playing with friends, every team, classified or not, will provide a fun and fair gaming experience. While your miniatures may also be used in solo and co-op play as MPOs, we're excited to see what other events the community runs, including joint ops and narrative events, and we'd love for you to include the full list of teams at these events. We're committed to ensuring every kill team gets the spotlight it deserves, and every player can enjoy their miniatures with access to those up-to-date rules. So thank you for your ongoing passion and support. We can't wait to share more of what we've been working on. So stay sharp, operatives, and get ready for an exciting journey ahead. Okay, let me summarise. There are only 33 kill teams on launch with rules updated for the new edition. Every kill team will have rules that are continually updated for 2 editions, that's 6 years. Teams will be classified, so recommended for high-level tournament play, for 4 years. Only the classified teams will be sold by Games Workshop, but some of the teams may continue to be available through 40k boxes. So what I want to do now is walk you through what that actually looks like. So this is us in October 2024, so next month. I'm going to call this Edition 2. I know that's there's a lot of different people want to call it a lot of different things. I'm going to call it Edition 2 because it's Edition 2 of this core rule set with these teams in, right? That might not be the edition numbering I use going forwards. I'm generally going to call it Kill Team 2024 because the edition numbering thing is kind of difficult, but we're going to call it Edition 2 for now. So Edition 2, Season 1, Box 1. This is where we are as of next month when we actually get Hivestorm in our hands. 33 classified teams, and the compendium from the last edition of the game is in the bin. And then we fast forward to approximately January 2025, and this is Edition 2, Season 1, Box 2. So Box 2 comes out, we get 2 more teams. And then in approximately April 2025, Box 3 comes out, we get 2 more teams. And then in approximately July 2025, Box 4 comes out, we get 2 more teams. This takes the number of teams in for classified play to 39, right? And then, in about October 2025, the edition changes. Not the edition, the season changes. Still edition 2, now season 2, box 1. So we've got a couple more redacted teams. We don't know what they're going to be. So the number of classified teams goes to 27. And these 14 teams have moved into the orange zone where they're still supported continually with rules updates. They're just no longer recommended for tournament play. So then we go to January 26, okay, and 2 more redacted teams come in box 2. April 26 and 2 more redacted teams come in box 3. And July 26 and 2 more. I kept saying redacted, which is the Games Workshop lingo. We just mean teams that we don't know what they are yet, right? Teams that have yet to be released. Come out in box 4. Now, in October 2026, we'll see the start of season 3, right? And so when that happens, all these other, there's going to be quite a lot of teams leaving the range here. Look, we're going to see Angels of Death leave. Why do I think Angels of Death are going to leave? Because of where they're positioned in the graphic, right? Which is otherwise in perfect chronological order. And because if you look in the current balanced data slate, they consider Angels of Death, they consider Intercession Squad to be a Season 2 team, right? So I think Angels of Death will leave along with the Navy Breachers, the Farsighted Kinband, the Kazakin, the Hierotek Circle, the Exaction Squad, the Hand of the Archon, the Felgar Ravagers, the Salvagers, and the Cult and the Agents, right? So that's going to be a lot of teams that leave in October 2026, right? We will get a few more unknown teams, and of course, all these Season 3 teams, so the Blades of Cain, Scout Squad, Nemesis Claw, Mandrakes, Hernkin, Jaegers, and Brood Brothers still legal, along with obviously the Scion, the Tempestus Aquilons, and the Vespid Stingwings, right? So then we go into January 2027, and Box 2, and we get 2 more classified teams. April 2027, Box 3, 2 more classified teams. July 2027, Box 4, 2 more classified teams. And then we go into, this is edition 2, season 3, box 4. So then we presumably have another new edition in October 2027, right? So just like we're having a new edition now in October of 2024, in 3 years, in October 2027, we expect a new edition. And when that new edition hits, these teams here are now going into the bin. So they're not going to get rules. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to move all these teams over into the bin at the same time at the start of the edition. I don't think they will, because if you read what they said each team is going to get supported for two full editions. So these ones that came out partway through the first edition, as we're counting it today, haven't had 2 full editions. So you could read it as saying all the stuff currently in yellow goes in the bin in October 2027. That's not the way I understand it, right? At the same time, the classified teams go up, 2 more redacted teams, and we move on with, and of course we've moved over the Hernkin, the Blades of Cain, the Scout Squad, the Nemesis Claw, Mandrakes, the Brood Brothers have moved over to the yellow zone. So, January 2028, box 2, 2 more unknown teams. April 2028, box 3, 2 more unknown teams. July 2028, box 4, 2 more unknown teams. And then what happens in October 2028? That's when we see the Tempestus Aquilons and the Vespid Stingwings. And now all the other teams that are going to release this year, right, and into next year, this current season that kicks off with Hivestorm, these are all Hivestorm teams now leaving classified play in October 2028, right? Season 2, box 1, and then we continue to add January 2029, Season 2, Edition 3, Season 2, box 2, April 2029, Edition 3, Season 2, box 3, July 2029, Edition 3, Season 2, box 4, 32 teams, 14 with just rules and a bunch in the bin. And then we go to October 2029, Edition 3, Season 3, Box 1, and that's now, we're just now starting to shuffle if we go back, sorry, we're just now starting to shuffle. The last few teams that we know are going in the bin. So they stop receiving balance updates at this point. You could, I suppose, still play with them because the rules will still exist, but they'll stop being balanced and talked about by Games Workshop as far as we understand it, right? Then we go into Box 2 of Edition 3 Season 3, Box 3 of Edition 3 Season 3. We're now in Space Year 2030, right? Like, this is getting ridiculous, but I just thought I'd keep doing it until the Vespid and the Tempestus Aquilons drop off. July 2030, so this is the 3rd edition, Season 3, Box 4, and then we're going to finally go to 4th edition, right? So this is 4th edition counting Hivestorm as 2nd edition, right? So when 4th edition comes out, in October of Space Year 2030, we'll have 26 teams, we won't know what any of them are, that are fit for tournament play. We'll have 18 teams, that we don't know what they are yet, but they will have had their time in tournament play, and they'll just be for casual play. And somewhere, right, in Space Year 2030, the last Vespid player who was playing casually around his kitchen table will leave a screed on my YouTube channel complaining that he doesn't get rules for his Vespid Stingwings in whatever edition of Kill Team they're releasing in October 2030. Right? Because that's how it goes. So these are just my estimations. Obviously, their dates could slip, right? Keynotes, I suppose, are October 2028, which is when Vespid and Tempestus are going to leave competitive play, right? And 2027, when the Nemesis Claw, the Scouts, the Blades of Cain, the Hurricane Jaegers, the Brood Brothers, the Mandrakes, are leaving competitive play. I say that because really, and this is possibly me being conservative, these teams here are probably the only ones that are already out that I would want to build and paint at this point. Right? Probably. I'll probably go back and add to my thing, so I've got a Legal Angels of Death list, but these are the only ones that I think are safe investments. But that's just me. Hopefully now everybody kind of understands what that is and what it means, and nothing is changing for a whole year, right? 2030 is a long way away. You might not being funny, you might not even be alive in 2030. There might be another pandemic that's wiped us all out by that point. Like, of all the things to get wound up about. So, the real question here is, are you going to be no, not are you going to be alive. The real question here is, should you care about classified kill team? So, in other words, to go back to this, should you care about this yellow section, or are you only caring when things go into the red section, the bin? Is that all that matters to you? And honestly, truthfully, this kind of thing is entirely what the community makes of it. If something is still being released and balanced by Games Workshop, then you can still play it if that's what people are genuinely doing. So the thing I want to talk about here is the contrast between the legacy factions in Warhammer the Old World. I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I'm going to mention it again. The legacy factions in Warhammer the Old World versus Warhammer Legends, right? We are neither of these things. Some people are calling it Legends as a sort of shorthand. Some people are getting really angry that people are calling it Legends for shorthand. Some people are calling it Legacy Kill Team for shorthand. The truth is they haven't given us a name. They've chosen to go the other way. They've chosen to call the tournament one Classified, right? And the regular one doesn't have a name. It's just Kill Team. I'm going to probably start calling it Legacy Kill Team just because I think Legend is a very loaded term, right? But this sort of thing is what the community makes it. If you attend tournaments, you're going to be looking at the rules in the tournament pack. Now, the truth is, the Old World community, look, Old World doesn't have a lot of games at Warhammer World. It doesn't have anything like a golden ticket for Warhammer Open. The people who have been playing the Old World have been playing the Old World for like a decade, without Games Workshop paying them any mind. So they've basically gone, sod off, Games Workshop. We are inviting the Lizardmen, Dark Elves, Skaven, Ogre Kingdoms, Vampire Counts, Demons of Chaos, and Chaos Dwarves to play in our tournaments. We don't care, right? Whereas in the other side of the coin, Warhammer Legends, which is exactly the same thing, it's Games Workshop saying these rules aren't really balanced for tournament play. Nobody uses them. Like, I wouldn't even take Legends units to there is a cartoon vampire that uses them. I've talked about before. Apart from that one entity on YouTube, there's nobody out there using legends. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not presenting this as a good thing or a bad thing at this point. I'm just presenting this as a fact about the universe, right? Old world players love legacy factions, and 40k players think legends is basically death. And they mean the same thing. They mean that you can't use them in official GW tournaments, and that's it, right? And it's just that the different communities have constructed in their own mind and gone their own way with them. So the question becomes, which way is our community, the Kill Team community, going to go with classified teams? Now, I'd love to get more input especially from big tournaments organisers, right, in the comments, if there's anyone's out there watching this. But I have talked to a few. I talked to a few people that were there at Turning Point Tactics. So I talked to Ryan himself, who was obviously running Turning Point Tactics. I talked to Jason, who's in charge of Not to Kill Team. I talked to Jin the Shep, who's a member of the channel and who runs all the events in Bristol. And I kind of gathered an opinion, right? Now, all of them kind of hedged. Nobody gave me a definitive answer, yes, we're doing this. Of course they didn't, because no one needs to actually make a decision about this for a year, right? To be very clear, we've got a year where classified Kill Team is a figment, right? It doesn't mean anything to anyone because all teams are classified teams, right? Games Workshop here is just giving us advance notice that in a year, some of our teams might not be eligible to play in certain events. This is a good thing. We are being told in advance, right? One of the problems with Warhammer Legends is that you wake up, get a new codex, go, cool, I've got a new codex, and the Games Workshop goes, yes, 9 of your units are no longer valid for tournament play tomorrow, sorry. We're getting told a year in advance which teams are going. That's actually pretty cool. So of course the tournament organisers are hedging, right? Some felt that they wanted to wait and see what Warhammer World did, right? So when it gets to it, if Warhammer World is running, especially for its smaller events and its weekday Warhammer events, if they're running classified teams only for all their events, then maybe we're going to follow that. And that makes sense, right? I think all of them felt that a golden ticket event should, even if Games Workshop doesn't force it to, it should be as close to the format of the actual Warhammer World Championship. So if you're playing for a ticket to Worlds, you should be playing with a team that you could bring to Worlds, and that makes a lot of sense to me as well, right? And then most of them told me about this idea that there was room for casual, non-classified events. So it was like, oh, maybe I would run 2 scales of events. So if it was a smaller event for getting new people into Kill Team, I would play it just with all the factions. And if it was a bigger, more kind of important and challenging, like a golden ticket event, I'd use the other set of rules. And actually, I want to gently push back on that a little, maybe. Okay, I want to just talk about the idea, and I'm not sure about this. I'm just turning it round in my head. Is non-classified Kill Team, or Legacy Kill Team if you like, maybe you don't, casual? Is it more casual? And it's easy to see. Everybody that's watching this probably plays the current edition of Kill Team, right? The one that's been around for nearly 3 whole years, and probably has a bunch of teams that are going to leave competitive play, and therefore, of course, being able to use them is more casual because they don't have to go out and spend more money. I understand. I just want to talk about Magic the Gathering for a minute, right? So for those of you not familiar, Magic the Gathering is a really long-running card game. It's been going for a very long time, okay? And it has cycling, and it doesn't just have 2 formats, it has billions of formats, right? There's modern and legacy and vintage and pauper and commander, and some of these are different rules as well, but there's a lot of formats of Magic the Gathering. But my point is, if you were to say to a Magic player, oh, surely the format where people can use whatever Magic card they want, that's the most casual, that person would probably just laugh until they died, right? Because everybody, even if you've never heard of Magic the Gathering, you've heard of Black Lotus, right? You're probably likely to have heard of the Power 9. These are cards that were made a very long time ago that Wizards of the Coast have said they're never going to reprint, and therefore being able to take them to an event basically means that only people that can drop tens of thousands, or in some cases, I think even hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars on a deck can compete with those cards. It is the least permissive and the least inclusive, version of the game, because it is so permissive and because there's this massive value attached to these out of print cards. So on the one hand, like you could see that with Kill Team, we're going to get out of print miniatures. So actually, one of the things that bothers me, the Gellerpox infected, right, are already out of print, and they're classified for a year, but you can't buy them. You can't buy them, right? You literally, unless they're gonna, they might bring them back in a Kill Team box. I really doubt it. We'll see. But the wider point is, if people can't buy something, that's a barrier. Now, the counter argument to that, and the reason I've had an excuse to feature Jonathan Solly's amazing Hierotex Circle team, right, is because, of course, Warhammer is a lot more proxy friendly, right? In Magic the Gathering, if you try and proxy, that means that you've printed out cards on your HP Laserjet in your house, right? That's like a cardinal sin. That's like a huge no within that community. That's just something you don't do culturally for Magic the Gathering. But if you are playing 40k, as long as you're using, I mean, bear in mind that this photograph I took of Jonathan's miniatures, this was at Warhammer World. As long as you're making your proxies out of Games Workshop plastic. Another example would be Candy Roller Crit's Necro Hierotex Circle. Necro Hierotex Circle are the Necrons. They were Necron Gellerpox. Necropox, right? Another example. As long as you're using Games Workshop pieces, 100% Games Workshop pieces, you can use proxies at official events. So maybe it is kind of a more casual format to say you are playing non-classified, but you are basically saying to new players, oh, if you want to play this team that is really, turns out to be really powerful in this format, you can't buy them, so you're going to have to proxy them. And that is still kind of a barrier to inclusion, a little bit. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. I'm sure there's going to be strong opinions both ways, and I'm actually not going to sit on the fence on this one. I'm going to have a stance. Now, just like the tournament organisers I spoke to, I do reserve the right to change my mind in a year when it actually becomes a thing and opinions have crystallised, right? But for now, I think on this channel, I want to focus on classified teams and classified play and very much talk about those things as if that is the game, because tournaments are fun. And I kind of want to break down with the sledgehammer the idea that there's a tournament play, and it's very strange, severe-looking people in like branded sportswear, esportsing around and being all kind of horrible to each other and quibbling over quarter millimeters and all that. There are a few people like that in the community for Kill Team. Not that many, but the thing is, like, that's not the majority of tournaments are people like me who want to go and have a mess around with their Kill Team, hope to win more games than they lose, push some plastic and roll some dice, and then have some pizza afterwards. That's the appeal of a Kill Team tournament, and that applies to golden ticket events. Golden ticket events aren't up on this pedestal of the golden ticket events, they're like the real Shark Tank events where people go hell for leather and are really competitive. Some of the most casually atmosphered games that I've been to have happened to have golden tickets. It's a meaningless distinction. Do not get into your head, oh well, if I'm going to a golden ticket event, that means everyone's going to play like an absolute, like, really, 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 really tight, really, really, like, laser focused, like really grinderish with the rules. It's not that way. It's not. Kill Team is for having fun and socialising and meeting people, and yeah, finding out who's the best player of Kill Team is important and relevant, right? But it's not, even at these golden ticket events, it's not the be all and end all. I am going to do a video review, by the way, I keep referencing it, of this Turning Point Tactics event. It was really, really good. But it was a massive golden ticket. It was exactly the kind of event that would definitely be, this from Ryan's mouth, would definitely be classified kill teams only. And I don't want people to self-exclude. I don't want people to self-exclude themselves from, like, the Turning Point Tactics event, let's just say, in 2020, 2026, right? Because the next one, everything will be classified anyway. But in 2026, I don't want people to go, I can't play that because I'm not a classified guy. Like, be a classified guy. Just, that's how I feel about it. You can tell me I'm wrong in the comments, it's fine. Let's talk about something slightly different. Let's talk about upcoming teams. So if they are retiring a bunch of teams from competitive play, let me just explain this graphic because it's a bit much. So this top row, this is how things stand right now at the start of Heimstorm. So you can see what I've done. The Space Marines Codex, and then you've got Phobos, Angels of Death Scouts. The Tyranids Codex, there's no kill team that belongs in the Tyranid Codex, so that's got a red square. You've got Admech with Hunter Clade, Necrons with Hyrotech, Tau with Pathfinders, Farstalkers, and Vespid. The Custodes have nobody, because the Compendium's been retired. The Orcs have Commandos. The Chaos Space Marines have Legionaries, Bloodied, Felgor, Chaos Cult, Nemesis Claw. The GC cults have got Wormblade and Brood Brothers. The Sisters have Novitiates. The Imperial Agents have the Starstriders, the Breachers, the Exaction Squad, and the Inquisitorial Agents. The Death Guard have nobody. The Dark Eldar have Hand of the Archon and Mandrakes. The Grey Knights have nobody. The Thousands have Warp Coven. The Eldar have the Corsairs, the Void Dancers, and the Blades of Cain. The Demons have no one. The Leagues of Votan have the Salvagers and the Jaegers. The Imperial Guard have the Death Corps, the Kazakin, and Aquilons, presumably. World Eaters have nobody, and Citizens of Nowhere, the Galapox Infected, don't belong in any 40k codex. They just exist. And so what's going to happen after the first year of Kill Team? All these teams that you see down here in bright red become unrepresented by a Kill Team. Admech, Orcs, Sisters, and Thousand Sons. Now, I really want them to have in the game an Admech kill team, an Orc kill team, a Sisters kill team, and a Tyranid kill team. Those things feel important to me because they're kind of real, like, big, top-level armies that people care about. I can see an argument that goes, Custodes don't fit the theme, and I'd love Custodes to get a kill team, but I can kind of buy the argument that says, Custodes don't fit the theme and lore of kill team, right? I can kind of buy an argument that says, Death Guard and Thousand Sons and World Eaters, they're sort of less important because they're basically just Chaos Space Marines, and Grey Knights are sort of less important because they're basically just Space Marines. Like, I don't necessarily agree with that point of view, but I can see it. And demons aren't really a thing, and all the rumours are that demons are getting rid of the Demons Codex for 40k, and it's going to get absorbed into all the other books. So I can see arguments. I'd love to see all the red, all the bright red and all the dark red, get something to fill in the squares for it as a matter of absolute priority. I'd much rather we had a team for each of those red boxes than yet more teams for the Chaos Space Marines or the Imperial Agents, for example. But I really think Admech, Orcs, Sis, and Tyranids are a huge it's hugely important. Especially Orcs. Now, we do have a rumour that in the very second box of this season is apparently going to be Orcs. I think it's going to be Tank Busters. I'll do a video on why I think that later. But we've heard that it's going to be Orcs versus Ratlings and Ocarins. Which the fact they're doing another Astra Militarum team tells us that they don't. Games Workshop doesn't. I don't think this is useful for predicting what Games Workshop do, because Games Workshop has demonstrated they don't care. But I think it's useful for sort of going, this is what Games Workshop ought to do. So I'd love, that's the next box that deals with Orcs, and over the next 3 boxes, I'd love to see Admech, Sisters, and Tyranid. Maybe we can have an Admech versus Tyranids box. That'd be cool. And then for the last box, Sisters versus someone else like World Eaters, right? Or whoever, someone else evil. That would be cool. Let's see it. Let's see it. Games Workshop. Let's see it. Okay, I think that brings me to an end, so I want a final thoughts. This is going to be a divisive topic for sure, and I'm expecting people to get really kind of engaged in the comments section, which is a great thing. Engagement's a great thing for the channel, so that's good. So do let me know your take down below. I'm going to see you again tomorrow for the last calm video before the storm, because of course on Saturday the pre-orders go live. There's going to be very little noise from me and a heck of a lot of noise from, you know, Glandy and Cryak, who've already put up their little video things so that you know, like, what they're going to be releasing. I'm going to be watching them, right? I'm not going to be focusing on putting out my own content unless we see something on Saturday on pre-order day to do with the app or the pre-release of the rules for the other teams, something like that. I will make a video on my, let those guys have their, you know, videos. I'm not going to go out and make videos. I'm not going to do a run. I've decided basically I'm not going to do a rundown of the Aquilons or the Vespid until Games Workshop have published the rules online, and then I can take really nice, clean, clear screen grabs from the official PDF. So if you're waiting for those two videos from me, you might potentially be waiting a long time. Alright, doesn't mean there aren't other things I want to talk about. If you've enjoyed this video and you've learned something, then please consider subscribing and sharing. And I want to just give a massive thank you to all. I've had a really influx at the moment of subscribers, so thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to all my old subscribers. Thank you to everybody that's ever commented, thumbs up, even thumbs down. All engagement is good, right? And thank you to the people, a massive thank you to the people who are channel members who actually send me real life, real money every single month. You know, I spend more than half of my paycheck from my regular job on rent every month. So actually, the bit of extra money I get from Kill Team does help me justify going. Have to spend £145 on Warhammer this month. It's nice to be able to go, but like, you know, half of that's been paid for by my members. It's nice. So thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. Means a lot. All right. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye 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 bye.